In the last video, the first of this ad hoc committee on me teaching you music theory and notation and literacy, I spoke about the composer Edgar Varese and that definition of music he gave us, that music is organized sound. And we spoke as well about how the easiest way to perceive music as organized sound is to think of music as organized sound according to time, or sound organized according to time. And today we're going to continue that, or in this video, we're going to continue that. In particular, I'm going to introduce a word, a term that we use as musicians all the time when it comes to time in music. And it's a very important word. I have to say, this is a disclaimer. There's a very simple way to define what this word is, but I'm an adventurous speaker, and so I've decided to give you the long scenic route version because I think you might benefit from it. It's not more complex, it's just more considered. So, yeah, let us consider what this term is. Some of you know exactly what I'm going to say because you've heard it before, and you know, oh, if you're talking about time in music, you have to be talking about this thing. The first term is not necessarily a fundamentally musical term, but it is the term that helps us get to the musical term. And this term is pulse. So in order to make this an interactive video, put your finger or fingers here by your ear and drop it down there. There we go. I can feel my pulse. And then there's this other way of feeling your pulse. I'm looking to the side here because I want to make sure that you can see where I'm pointing at. I put my hand, my finger, on that part of my hand. There. Tricky in terms of the angles. But I can feel my pulse there. I used to put it here and feel nothing and felt like maybe I was just dead. But I wasn't dead. I just was putting my finger in the wrong place. There you go. Can feel my pulse going through my, main artery to my hand. And the point of getting us all to start feeling the pulsations of our inner biology is to talk about this thing called a pulse. And a pulse, what is it? It's a repeated event with a consistent time difference. If you already can join the dots. So in our body, we have got this thing called the circulatory system, and at the center of it is the heart, pumping blood through the whole of the body, and obviously returns to the heart. And as it pumps, you have these, I don't know what you call them, clumps or globules of blood just flowing through our body. And when we feel our pulse, those are the globules or clumps or whatever the right word is, going past that point, right? And it's more or less consistent depending on if you're exercising or standing or sleeping or breathing in a certain way. That pulse increases or slows down, but it's more or less consistent. It certainly isn't super random. Otherwise, that's arrhythmia, and you should get that checked out. Anyway, the point is, our heart pumping blood through the body is a pulse. There are other pulses, two very significant pulses. They are called sunrise and sunset. And these are pulses. Why? Because they're events. The sun comes up, the sun goes down. And they are repeated, they're repeated events, and each repetition is separated by more or less a consistent time period. And I get it, between the seasons there's a bit of a swing, but the point is, say within the space of a week or two, the sun will set and rise at more or less exactly the same time in that time period or in that season. So these are pulsations, long-term pulsations, as opposed to the quick pulsations of our circulatory system. From the pulsation or the pulse of sunrise and sunset, we get the pulses that make up our everyday timing system: 1 hour, 1 minute, and 1 second. It's all based on the ancient development of the measurement of time, etc., and so forth. So that's me discussing at length this concept of a pulse, so that I can declare the obvious. The metronome was providing a pulse. There we go. The metronome gave us a pulse so that we could organize sound. Why? Because that's what pulses do. That's how we've used pulses to derive the silent pulses of the hour, the minute, and the second. The pulses which provide us with the opportunity to arrange or order or organize our time in general. We now in music make use of a shorter period pulse, well, I guess more or less in the range of a second, to organize the sounds that we are making. And the metronome was just making that pulse audible. But by the end of that video, I showed you how we have an internal sense of this pulse. We don't need the metronome. The metronome is good for practicing being good at keeping a good pulse, but we don't need the metronome. We can do that internally. The pulse that we use in music to organize and arrange sounds has an official name, and the name is called, you guessed it, the beat. Okay, I couldn't withhold it any longer than that. The beat. The beat in music. The beat in music is not necessarily a heard thing, as I've already alluded to. It's something that, it's a time reference that allows us to organize the sounds in music. It can weirdly, as we play music, be felt between the musicians, right? When you're playing with people or you're singing with people and you say that person is singing off, you probably first think that they're singing not in sync, synchrony meaning same time, not in time with everybody else, right? So in a group setting, we can sort of feel the same beat and play to the same beat, to that same pulse. There's something else I wanted to say before I close off this video, because that pretty much is the point of this video, to introduce the topic of the beat. One last thing, as I showed you with the metronome, you can increase the pace of the beat or you can decrease the pace of the beat, right? The speed of the beat. And when you increase it, we measure it in the exact same way that we measure your pulse. When you go to the doctor and they want to make sure that your blood pressure is in the right place, etc. and so forth. And the unit of measurement is called beats per minute, right? Anyway, that's it. I hope this was a rather entertaining, scenic route description of what in music we call the beat.